I'll be doing something.
Thank you.
Would you like one?
No, I fully support, but I don't need that.
What do you mean by fully support?
I vote pro-life every time.
So what is that going to do for the kids who are going to be mass murdered tomorrow morning locally?
What should I do?
You should consider going out to the places where they murder children to speak up for those children, to talk to the parents. You should do.
I've convinced a lot of people to not get abortions.
Awesome. You should continue to do that. You know, and you should go out in the street and you should expose this evil to thousands of people. You know, you should expose this evil to thousands of people on a regular basis so that thousands of people can be educated, because thousands of people are being miseducated, and we have a culture that dehumanizes them.
Guy. What's your name?
I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt. Listen, man. I've probably convinced a dozen or so people to not get abortions.
That's awesome.
I love that. This is not for kids. Like, go show it somewhere where there's not kids walking around.
Guys, yeah.
Well, what about the kids being murdered?
The police department, us asking you to leave the premises based upon the reasons we did, we are legally it's okay for you, us to ask you to depart. There's an officer on the way here right now.
Cool.
To have you escorted off the premises.
Cool. We're on public property.
You're
and
not.
this is, I mean, I believe the school is public property. It's not? This isn't a public school?
Not during school hours, it is not.
Okay, I mean, I can move, like, here, and now I'm on public property, so... This is a sidewalk. This is a public sidewalk.
They can talk to the cops.
It is. This is a public sidewalk, you know.
Officers will be here. But
Don't
man,
explain.
that is...
Would you like one?
No, I wouldn't.
No?
Not at all.
It's time to wake up. Kids are being mass murdered. People care more about the fact that we show up with graphic images than they do about the fact that kids are going to be mass murdered tomorrow morning in the city of Aurora.
It's not effective at all.
How do you know that?
If they weren't killing people,
the result.
If they weren't
How do you
killing
know?
people to little bits, we wouldn't have to have these
Because
signs.
I know exactly.
How do you know
what
it's
you're
effective?
doing is repulsing people.
What is it? Tell me the numbers, man, because I deal with numbers. So how many people have said, "Oh my gosh, you've convinced me. Now I'm not going to get an abortion," or "Oh my gosh, you've convinced me. Now I'm going to crusade for this"? Nobody.
Well, most people are extremely hard-hearted. You know, they love their sin. They love their selfishness.
This man is not hard-hearted.
Okay, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do to fight this?
I've convinced roughly
I'm not
12
asking.
people.
I'm not asking you what you have done. I'm asking you what you're going to do.
I'm still doing that. Actively. I still
Cool.
actively
He
speak
gave an
with
answer,
people.
and
I
you're
still
ignoring it.
actively speak
Okay.
to people about not getting an abortion and giving it up for adoption, or actually fathering and mothering that child.
Okay.
Seriously, having a
You've
relationship with
taken
somebody.
in.
I have three foster kids who I've convinced to not get aborted. From
That's great.
They're my nieces. They're my nieces
That's
and my
great.
nephew.
Do you know why? He had influence over that person. He was
Yeah.
in their life. He was showing them love.
Yeah,
He was not just showing them a graphic image.
Like, oh my gosh, repent.
You
I was
know,
with
Well,
them.
well,
Let
when
me
you
help
have, when
let me pray for you.
let me.
Loving them. This
There's
is
no
not love.
influence. I have no idea what your life is like. You could
Well-
be a complete cretin. This isn't going to impact anybody because you're not
That's a-
coming from a point of love.
That's an
You're not coming
incredible
from a point
assumption.
of-
You know, like people turn away from murdering their children after seeing signs like this. They do. You know, it's a fact. So we need to go
Based on
out.
what?
We need to go out and reach thousands of
Where's
people
your data?
because
Where's the person
thousands
who's
of
come to you
people
and
are
said that?
murdering their children every day, right? So it's great to have personal relationships, but right now, the extent of the problem is thousands are murdered every day.
I get
So that means we
But
need
if
to
each
reach thousands of
if each
people
person-
every day,
Yo,
right?
listen, if each person, if 1,000 believers in love reach one person, that's 1,000 abortions not happening.
See, I've
If you
talked
reach
to
two
people
people, it's
personally.
2,000.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
talked to people personally who have had the kind of impact that he's talking about. And they say, this person stepped into my life, and because of that, things changed. I have never in my life encountered anybody who said, I saw a picture, and that changed my life.
Everyone I talk to
Well,
is like, these guys
that's-
are not
that's your
reasonable.
experience.
It's cheap. It's easy. You can stand on the sidewalk and yell stuff, but you're not actually engaging in somebody's life.
No, actually,
impacting somebody.
you can go to these places of death, and people will turn away from murdering their children
Yeah.
because they see signs like this. I know a woman who lives
Well, then go
very
there.
close
Why
by,
don't you go there? Go
and,
there. Go
and
there
we've
then.
been helping her. We've been in her life because she turned away after she saw a sign like this
That's great,
Okay,
man.
so-
Go
at
there.
Planned Parenthood. Okay.
So here,
Go to
you're-
Planned Parenthood.
Planned
Yeah.
Well, I do go to Planned Parenthood, but we need more people at Planned Parenthood. There should have been thousands of people showing up to shut down Planned Parenthood yesterday when they were mass murdering children. But where was the church?
Are you having that effect
People
on
were
people
doing.
here right
People
now?
were going about their lives like nothing, like everything's okay when they knew when and where children were being mass murdered.
And do we have people here right now who are having this effect by what you're doing and saying, you know what, buddy, you're right. I'm going to come with you. I want to be like.
Is
you.
that
I
my
wanna come
fault?
do
I
that."
mean, if they're like,
would
oh,
take
no big deal, kids are being
responsibility, yeah.
mass murdered, not my problem. Is that
So-
my fault?
so
No.
Do you want to be effective, or do you just want to make people feel guilty?
I want to do God's will. I want to wake people up. God uses this to wake people up. And his sheep will hear his voice. The apostate people, the fake believers will go on their merry way into hell. But the real people will do the will of God. You know, the real Christians will do the will of God, and they'll wake up and they'll love their neighbor as themselves.
Which is exactly what I was talking about doing.
Yeah,
Isn't
loving
that
our
funny?
neighbor as ourselves. Yeah.
It
Cool.
seems like you've got a very narrow-minded view of what that entails. And
I'm
if you're not
saying
doing
there.
what
I'm
you're
saying there are
doing-
certain
I'm saying
actions.
If you're not doing what you're doing, then you're not a real Christian. You're not being loving.
No,
You're not hearing the voice of
no.
God.
I'm saying there are certain actions that need to be done by a lot of people so that this can end quickly.
Yeah.
We can have great personal interactions with people, but that's not going to bring a quick end to this. I'm talking about what do we actually need to do strategically to bring an end to this nationally as fast as possible.
Buddy, I've been around this for almost 15 years. This has never made one shift in the positive direction.
That's an incredible assumption. How
It
do
is
you
not
know
an-
It's
It's not an assumption. It's based on
said,
real
show us some
There-
data.
Here,
I
let
mean,
me
show
clue
us-
you into something. Here's what I do for a living. I do user interviews, and this is a great user interview based on like web applications and all that kind of thing. User testing. Right now, there's probably a dozen people who have come by. Not a single person has changed. So 0% conversion rate. Right?
Well, you don't know that. You have no idea what they're thinking about right now. They could
those
be
guys-
convicted right now. God could be working in their heart right now.
Dude, buddy, they're not. I know these people.
Another
like,
assumption.
No, you're making a lot more assumption than I am. I actually know these people. You don't know anyone here.
I don't
Personally.
but I know that God
everyone here-
works. I know that God works in people's hearts.
Bro, I know that too, but I'm telling you, all these people are not down with you showing kids this. Go to Planned Parenthood and show it. I would support that. I would get 100% behind you and say, go there. There's not little kids walking around. What effect are you got to think about them too. Are you a father? Are you a father?
No, there are actually little
I
kids.
don't think you'd understand.
There are little
Take
kids
it from
in the
me.
back seats of cars driving around all the time. So
Well,
wherever
and
you
that-
go, little kids are going to see this.
I don't think they're going to see it in the Planned Parenthood line when someone's walking in. There's a way to obstruct
No,
the
we
view.
have it out in the open.
Buddy,
Little kids are going to see it.
Buddy, I've been at Planned Parenthood. I've prayed for people walking in.
Great.
I've changed minds. I'm telling you, this is not appropriate. How do you not understand that? You're out here.
That's your
heart
opinion.
is the one that's hard. Your heart is so hard, you can't even listen to someone else tell you. Watch, you won't take it. I guarantee.
Maybe because that person's telling them that we're
Because they're
not good.
reasonable. No, buddy, it's because you're being unreasonable, man. Have you
Maybe
ever
you're
listened
being
to-
unreasonable.
I'm not. Tell me how many. This is not like a peeing contest for me. Like, how many people have you seriously told, hey, you told me about one lady, but how many people have you seriously loved on to the point where they're like, I'm going to give this kid up for adoption, or I'm not going to get an abortion for whatever reason. I'm going to do whatever with it other than get an abortion. How many people have you been in their lives and actually then love those kids? 'Cause I've done it for several people, and I'm not.
That's great.
I'm letting you know this is not the way to that.
Yeah, how many people's minds have you changed, about the whole abortion issue?
lot.
Like, I've exposed this to literally thousands of people. I don't know how many
shown it to
people.
thousands
I
of
don't know how
people.
many people have changed their minds because of what I've shown them.
Exactly. That's my point.
I don't
You
know. Right. There's no way I could know. You're right, because they're rolling around all around me. They're
buddy.
all around me. It's a public atmosphere, it's a public space.
Worth your whole life to do. If it's
I've
to
just
save
said-
one
I've just-
single person,
I've
it
said
would have
I've
been
ju-
worth my whole entire
Buddy,
life to get that
But
one
what if
child
you
saved.
could save 25? What if you could save
Great.
more?
I'm glad.
You can do that through
He's saying he
personal
has.
relationship with people.
Please,
I
please don't
have.
hold his sign.
Well, I'm
Personal-
not going to
pers-
let kids see the sign.
Well, that's
I'm not.
called harassment. And
It's
bad
not
words.
called
Well-
harassment.
You
Feel
know,
free to call the
Personal
cops.
relationships are awesome. They're
The cops
great.
are already on their way.
That's great. I'm gonna
So-
teach the message to them too.
So personal relationships are great. We should do that. But we also, the church is pretty good at personal relationships. Most churches are
No,
very
it's
focused.
not. I don't think
so at
They're
all.
very
No, it's
focused
not.
on, we need to have a personal relationship with people, friendship evangelism. But they're not very focused on, we need to educate thousands of people by putting it out there on a regular basis, because that's how culture changes.
This
culture,
isn't education. You're
culture.
showing it to thousands of people. I would argue that you are not educating anyone.
No, you're showing them what's happening to children. That's an education.
Sidewalk, step off them where you're going to be arrested for trespass.
Okay.
You know to stay on the sidewalk, right?
Okay.
That's the only place you can go with that.
All right.
Well, I mean, there's the grass, right?
We were just wondering, officer, if we could.
Only be in the public area. You go out of the school, that's private property for District 200. You'll be arrested for trespass.
I'm part of the I was wondering.
You got two of them coming. That's Dave. Dave shots.
I can't make
He's an okay guy. I don't know that guy.
stay on the public way. Yeah, we'll do it.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, we'll do the best. But I cannot. Supreme Court protects them. No, I'm all about the.
Thanks, man. Have a great day, Mr. Shot.
You guys have problems with somebody?
I don't.
We have what?
Yes.
Somebody give you guys problems?
They did.
We're just concerned that kids are going to see this sign, so we were politely asking them to leave, and they're refusing.
Hello. Did you hear about the mass murder that just happened down the street?
Sounds like there's no way around
Would
it.
you like to hear about it?
I don't care, and I'm late for church.
That's fine.
Well, I mean, there's kids walking through the front door. I was just wondering if they could move somewhere else. You know, saying there's like a clinic or something to do with
I wish that.
Yeah, we're directing some kids.
I wish we could communicate that we really are on your side. We are just also called as parents to protect our children's hearts and to lead them when they're ready and to not overwhelm them. You know, you wouldn't let a kid, you know, just, yeah.
I mean, if you don't want them to look at it, you can tell them to look away. You can cover their eyes if you want.
It's too late. By the time parents see this, it's too late. And the damage has been done on a little heart.
You're assuming that damage has been done.
Have you ever been through trauma therapy? Have you ever had a flashback?
No.
Okay. I encourage you to research that a little bit.
Hey, it's 10:08. You ready to go to Crossroads?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I can tell you that. It's because
No, you can, Hannah, go
Would you like one, ma'am?
No,
Kids are being mass murdered and they need
Go
help.
ahead. Go ahead.
No.
We got it.
They need help, ma'am.
Thank you so
they just had a
much.
mass
Good to
murdering
see
down
you.
the street. Did you hear about that?
Yesterday, there were kids mass murdered down the street
Oh, like 20 of them.
in Glen Ellen. Would you like one, ma'am?
No, thank you.
Why are you trying to keep people from the truth?
We're not, honey. We're pro-life here, but there's a
And that's the problem.
way to handle it, and this isn't it.
You can protect kids' hearts and still get your message across. At Planned Parenthood, this is awesome. Let people see the devastation.
Well, we know kids are going to see this at Planned Parenthood too.
Not
And
like
are
they
you
are
going
at
to
a
be here
church.
tomorrow on the school day too?
Will I be here tomorrow? No. I mean, I do go to a high school to educate students.
But we've got preschoolers here.
They would feel compassion for these poor
They would, you know,
Or
most
they would
like
be traumatized.
little kids.
I have faith that God will guard their hearts towards being, you know, having any like nightmare type stuff. They'll have compassion towards it instead, and
You know
they'll actually
what?
try to motivate their parents to stop the innocent killing of all these people. I mean,
That-
the
I
way you're
think that's
acting does
wishful
not seem
thinking.
like you are against the mass murdering of people.
I absolutely am. I just have a different approach, and I
Okay,
believe
that's
a more
fine.
effective approach.
That's
But
fine.
you know, I just wish you could see that we're on the same team. We
Yes.
just have a different method.
That's
There's
fine.
the truth and there's the truth in love.
But you have a
And we
problem
need
with
to
our
we need
method.
to adopt the correct method, or methods that actually bring about cultural change. And we have to think about how does our methodology actually work. We have thousands of churches in this nation. We've had how many years, decade after decade after decade of mass murder, and we haven't been changing with the current methodology. Nothing's been changing.
We're trying
But
to change
this,
the laws.
I've protested at Planned Parenthood out in Aurora when it opened. This isn't working. We've done this for we've done it since I was in high school.
No,
It's
no,
not
no,
working.
you, no, you haven't. The church, the church,
completely unreasonable.
The
that they
church-
keep saying the same
the
stuff.
church has not been
Let's
doing
get
that.
the kids not to-
The church has not been doing this
What time
We gotta
is
get to
it?
Crossroads.
to the scale that it should be done. Yep.